What's going on, guys? Motorcycle Mouse. So I'm going to show you guys how I do my ghillie suits. I'm making a new one. I just brought this outside for a minute to do the rest of this. All right, what you're going to do, I've made several of these, so I'm going to give you some tips and lessons learned. So when you do one of these, I suggest getting a flight suit like this, because it's all one piece, and on the front there's one zipper that comes in and out. And what that prevents is from when you're crawling on your stomach, you don't get twigs and leaves and ticks and ants and everything up in your waistband if you did this in two pieces. These are like maybe $30 at an Army Navy store. I think I got this one for $40 just because of the, sorry about the rooster, just because of the type that this is and the pockets that's on the front. But you can get them for about $30 to $40. So then you're going to take a net, and you want it to be something, I'm about to shoot this damn thing. You want it to be something that doesn't rot. So it needs not to be something like cotton, because if it gets wet, it'll eventually rot. Now, another thing you'll want is shoe goo. If you don't do shoe goo, you'll have to do like I did before and stitch all these spots instead of shoe gooing. And shoe goo will hold. It has the consistency of rubber cement, and it will definitely hold. It'll hold a lot, actually. So that's the way I went this time, just because of how much quicker it is, and it's just as strong. And a lot of people have been doing this for a long time, and this is what they like. So I'm going this route this time. If I need extra reinforcement, I can always stitch and then shoe goo, but I don't need the extra reinforcement because it's not like you're carrying 1,000,000 pounds on this. Now it does get heavy. It does get heavy, as you can see toward the bottom down here. You work your way up. Now I haven't stitched this. This is the old trousers that I just pulled off, and I shoe gooed the top. I'm going to pull this stuff off because, as you see, it's a lot of browns, and as you can see, this time of year it's a lot of greens. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. So anyway, taking this stuff off, and as you can see, I've got some greens that we took regular. I'm fixing to kill this rooster. We took regular canvas and we dyed it the different colors, except for these two right here. I bought them the brown because it was just easier to buy, because that was the right shade of brown that I wanted. So alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to let this set, and then I'm going to put the netting down the sleeves on both sides. And once I get all this done, I'll start recording again and show you what I'm doing next. Alright guys, I forgot to go over some of the materials. Okay, first is going to be, you're going to need a net. Now I got most of this stuff at like a Hobby Lobby. Actually, it was Hobby Lobby. As you see, the price for the net is $5.99. You'll probably need 2 of these, and that includes for the hat, or you can do a hood if you want. Next, you're going to want some shoe goo. It's in a red tube. You can get it at Walmart. Also, this at Hobby Lobby is the same thing, shoe goo, same exact thing. And you're also going to need some canvas, and you can dye it. And these are some different colors that we've dyed right here. But you can dye it to whatever colors around your area. So if I look right now, it's greens and browns, light greens, dark greens, and some browns. So I would dye it those colors. Or at Hobby Lobby, they have different colors. And this one was $5.99, and that's for 6 inches by 5 yards. So plenty there. This whole thing shouldn't cost you very much. Obviously, you're going to want the flight suit. And as you can see, I'm putting the netting on, as you saw from the last video. I'm going to finish that and I'll come back. Okay, so at this point, what we've done is we're tying these strips of burlap on here. And as you can see, the eye would pick up on this rectangular type view, or I don't know what you call it, visual here. And so we've changed up the colors, and you try to match it to your surroundings. And right now I'm not putting a whole lot of greens in here, mainly because I can take the greens from whatever's around and put some in here. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of green. That way during the winter I can still use this suit and not have to change it too much. Now what you do is once you have one like this right here, you'll take them and separate them like she's doing here with this one, so that they come off all stringy like we have over here. This doesn't, the eye won't pick up on this as much. It looks pretty similar to that. as you can see, off on the grass off of this canvas. Also, on the other side, as you can see here, I've got the knee pads. What I did is took an old Army half shelter like this, just regular canvas, and I shoe gooed it down, because you're going to be on your knees and on your chest. So there's knee pads, chest pads, and I'll do elbow pads also. That way you're not ruining your actual flight suit or your ghillie suit. You can always re-shoe goo another patch of canvas on here, but you're going to be dragging your knees and your chest and your elbows along the ground a lot, so you need to reinforce it. And see how this kind of has a glossy look? I'll have to go back and spray paint, but this is spray paintable. I'll go back and I'll spray paint this, and when I flip it over to the other side, I'll still spray paint a little bit, kind of a mixture pattern there, so it breaks up the pattern, so it doesn't look like a plain color, because the eye picks up on abnormalities. So if you look out there, there's nothing, that's just a blank space of color, whereas all of this is off here right now. So when it starts looking like this, it looks a lot better. Alright, get back to you when we get further along in this. It's getting pretty late. This is a pretty time intensive process. This is probably going to take almost probably another 3 hours to complete putting the burlap on. Alright, so at this point we've got the suit almost completed. So what you're going to do at this point is you're going to lay down on the ground like I am. You're going to have someone stand toward the front and kind of nitpick at the suit and try to find out where the bad spots of the suit are, and maybe spots you would have missed, and so on and so forth. So I know that my shoulders right now need to be redone, that I need to do a little more there. I need to fill in some of the spots. And also a trick that you can use is using rubber bands. A trick that you can use is using rubber bands and put them all over the suit where the netting is, and that allows you to attach your foliage. For now, you see that I have a lot of grass on me because I'm in a grassy area. So you use the rubber bands to be able to attach all your foliage, and it's a lot quicker. Now obviously in the field your spotter would be changing out your foliage, so if I went from a grassy area to a needly top area, we'd stop at the edge of that and the spotter would change mine, and then I would change the spotters. So by using the rubber bands, it goes a lot quicker. You take out the old stuff, put in the new. Now one consideration is when you're using foliage is that about every 5 hours you have to change it out because stuff starts to die. So you need to be able to realize that your foliage may blend in at first, but it's going to start browning pretty soon. So you can't stay with regular foliage too long without changing it out. Another thing is the scope. You want to make sure you get your scope covered of the weapon, or even anything that shines. Even if you're just using a ghillie suit for a camera and you're trying to take pictures of wildlife, you want to make sure that that lens is camouflaged also. They make different kill flash things like that, but you need to paint it or put a netting like I've done over this scope, and then put enough foliage and such in front of it and on top of it that it doesn't completely stand out. So at this point we're going to fill in some of the empty spots of the suit, and then we'll constantly be rechecking it to see where we need to make color changes, maybe darken things up, lighten things up, and then from there it's we got to put the elbow patches on and spray paint the front, and we'll be almost completed.